In the first concerto, there is only one metronome mark in the manuscript of the first movement. So it's 58 to the half bar. For the second concerto, Brahms gave us metronome marks for all four movements, and they are very, very flowing. I wouldn't say fast, that's the wrong adjective, but we have become to listen to Brahms in a very heavy way. I don't know why that is, but that's the association people think of it as a very ponderous, rather fat, I would say. That's the way people play it, and we are using enormous orchestras, which is really not what Brahms wanted. I mean, we have plenty of documents and plenty of evidence that, for example, with Hans von Bülow in the court theater of Meiningen, which is still there today, and we have the records that a Brahms symphony was played by an orchestra of 40-something musicians, let's say 45 musicians. Today we hear the Brahms symphonies by 80 or 90 musicians and double winds and everything, and it's colossal and it's huge, but that's not what he wanted. Interpretation is also a little bit, we like restoring a work of art. Try to get rid of the layers of dirt, layers of dust. Tradition is a wonderful thing, but we have to look at tradition critically and not just to copy it. So that's why for me it has been a great discovery to come to this kind of pianos. This is made by Julius Blüthner in the city of Leipzig. We all know the city of Leipzig as the Bach town, but it was always a very important musical town, hence the first performance of Brahms's first piano concerto. And so Brahms knew and played this kind of instrument. It has parallel strings. So unlike the later type pianos where the bass strings are much thicker and the bass strings go diagonally across the higher strings. That produces a larger volume. But what we lose is the transparency, and this kind of instrument has a wonderful singing tone, I don't know, almost like a piano without hammers, and very rich in overtones and distinct registers of bass, middle, and the top end. So I found that with this kind of piano, the music is idiomatic and it is not heavy. Obviously, there are also losses. I cannot produce a triple fortissimo with the volume of a Steinway. But to me, the gains are much more important. So what we lose maybe in those climaxes, which we have to somehow substitute with imagination and fantasy and timing to suggest the power of those climaxes. But the middle range and the soft range and the softest range in these old pianos it's astonishing. I cannot play so softly on a modern piano like, what can I play for you? Any. I can go softer and softer and softer, and this is but the softer we play, the more intensity. So softness is not something without tension. Also with the orchestra, with using the instruments of the orchestra of the Age of Enlightenment, with strings, with gut strings, all the string players, and wooden flute, and all the woodwind instruments are from the period or remakes of the period. I find the sound of the horns especially wonderful and magical, the natural horns. So it's much riskier to play because one can miss this note or that note, but it's worth the risk because of the magic in the tonal quality that we gain. Listening to old recordings, which I love to do, of these great pianists from the previous centuries. And I realized that already playing on a modern piano, today pianists are very pedantic, and listeners too, because they think that, you know, this is how it is on the paper. But the old pianists, the two hands are never together. They play. So not mathematically together this togetherness is like an illness. It's wrong. It's never together. Even a very good orchestra playing a Brahms symphony, the double basses have to play before the first violins. Otherwise, it's not good. I mean, the bass is the foundation, and on that foundation we build the sound of overtones, and it is like a pyramid. It's wonderful. It blooms. So that is one idea I had from the old pianists, but I find it much easier to realize it on this instrument. An instrument like this plays, for example, Brahms absolutely wonderfully. But already I wouldn't use it for Schubert, which is not very far, but Schubert is a Viennese composer and a few decades earlier, and that's not my first choice. So I'm trying to say that vive la différence. So different instruments for different composers, for different pieces, and always to find the right world of sound.